E.J. Jones here at Straight Black Sports. I'm sitting here with Leander, Jordan, and Naomi, his beautiful fiance, his beautiful queen. When I saw both of them, I said, hey, we got to have you guys on. They were gracious enough to come over and step to the table of Straight Black Sports. And we're going to get a chance here. I'm going to call him LJ because it kind of goes with my EJ and very easy for me to remember, right? But I know him. He plays for the San Diego Chargers, or played for the San Diego Chargers. Tell me a little bit about your experience of going from, people always ask the question, I know I would get this question, going from high school, going to college, and then going to the NFL. The difference in the game, how did it change for you from those three aspects of going from one level to the next to the highest level to play?
Well, I played my senior year in high school, so the difference in the sport from high school to college was the learning behind it, because as you know, the game of football is, it's like chess, you know what I mean? So you have to strategize and prepare and know what you're doing. So I think that was the transition for me from high school to the college atmosphere, because you had to learn more, and even more when you went to the next level.
Right.
Also, the speed of the game changed too.
Okay.
So now you got to think quickly, and you got to be, think on your toes, because all those guys are fast as you, big as you, strong as you, and you have to be able to think just as quickly as your body moves.
Exactly. Now, when you talk about position that you played, I was a little old running back, and this guy here is the alpha male. He's a big man, so he played in the trenches, and when he played, I'm talking about contact. Here's a guy, imagine being 8 inches, that's probably the distance, maybe it's a little smaller than that. But every day, you got to bang against this particular person. You got to see him time and time again. What is it like playing, that close in those trenches, and tell us what type of things go on down there in the trenches of the line?
You got to have a lot of self-confidence, because it's like you and the guy across from you. And one thing you have to do is you have to have a certain mindset walking into it, because it's mano a mano. So if you let the guy beat you, it kind of takes a hit on who you are as a person, because people that's watching you are like, that's a battle between two men and who won. So you have to be mentally tough to go against somebody for that short second, that 10-second period, and be able to dominate that other person, and have that mindset to be in that, in the zone that where you're not going to defeat me today.
Right.
You're not going to defeat me this snap, out of, 14 plus snaps running down the field.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay. Who were some of the linemen that you looked up to when you were playing as a younger man, and then all of a sudden you had to look out there and say, well, who were some of the guys that you kind of idolized or looked at in the game?
Well, I was drafted to the Carolina Panthers, and one of the guys that I looked up to was Clarence Jones. He played left tackle with them, and then guys like Todd Stussy, some of those guys, just to name a couple of them. But those were the guys that kind of took me under the wing and said, look, young fella, we see you're athletic, you have the athleticism, but they kind of taught me how to play football from a veteran standpoint. You know what I mean? And a lot of times guys come in the league and they think like, I just got all this athletic ability and talent, but you have to be a student of the game. So if you don't have those skills to kind of be mentor under some of those guys, it helps you a long way in your career. That's how you build the longevity in your career, is to listen to some of those guys.
Okay. The training is much different from the 80s than it back in the 1980s. You're not going to believe. When we went to training camp, I would see guys smoking cigarettes. And this is 1984, to tell you the truth. They would smoke cigarettes, and some guys at halftime would have a cigarette. And I was thinking, oh my goodness, how can you play a football game and you smoke a cigarette? But the game has changed. You have to stay in shape year-round. We didn't have to do that. We would go home for a long break, come back from mini camp. Now you guys got all different type of things. Tell me how the game has changed in the sense of training.
Training, I can remember, when I played with Jacksonville, and I was with Tom Coughlin, and we might have went the entire training camp full pass 2 days. Now, some guys like yourself, what year did you
It's
play?
on 84.
84.
Yeah.
I know you guys went like a month and a half training
Yeah,
camp.
it was
I mean, our
brutal.
training camp was about 28 days.
Yeah.
But, you know, just to hear some of the stories that, you know, the veterans tell, you know, us younger guys, well, I'm not young anymore, but when I was young at the time, I don't know what that would have felt like, but I know 28 days or tour days, that's something that that's pretty demanding and taxing on your body.
It is.
You know, especially when, you know, guys are, well, coaches, they're trying to whip you into a mindset. Everything about football is a mindset. So if your preparation is not preparing you for that mindset to carry you throughout that season, you know, which I understand, you know, what their tactics was to get us to learn a certain thing about the sport. You know, you just have to be able to be mentally tough at that time. So 28 days of training camp with tour days, it was definitely an experience because I hadn't went through that. Now, you know, when I was in Carolina, my second year, I think we were like 0-16. So that was pretty bad.
Yeah.
So we went the whole season in pads.
Wow.
So some of the stories that I used to hear from the the older players, you know, played in your year, you know, was they used to do that all the time. But that was unfamiliar to us because when I went to San Diego and I was with you know, on the Chargers, and you know, we were all right. We had a decent team, so we didn't go that long. You know, a lot of times we would have practices with no pads. We would do water crews. You know what I mean? It was a little bit more chill, relaxed. So those are some of the differences.
Unbelievable. Now, Naomi, we have to get you in here, right? So, beautiful queen here. This is a beautiful picture. It represents everything that we talk about when we talk about building black families and getting our basis back to understanding the strong black woman and strong black man, building families together. Tell me how you met this girl.
Oh, it's a long story, but I'll make it short. We met in San Diego when we played for the Chargers.
Okay.
So we've known each other for a while.
Wow.
We started as friends.
And that's important, right? Okay, it's important. So you originally from California? Okay, so California. So this isn't too much, but I mean, you got good weather here, right? Not California, but
Definitely not California.
Not California. San Diego's beautiful, so we understand the difference in the weather. So were you a football fan prior? Okay.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I'm a football fan. But just to add to your story here, I didn't know you played football.
Isn't that something? Didn't know. Here's this big man here, and he's saying he could be doing something else other than playing football.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys live in Atlanta now? Okay. And you're involved in a business, I understand. And your business is what?
Premier One Restaurant and Lounge. It's also an event center.
Okay.
In Decatur, Georgia.
It's in Decatur, Georgia. Premier One.
Premier One.
Okay.
It's actually Premier One Multiplex.
Okay.
And we're doing a lot of stuff for the community. We're actually a full-on restaurant, and the hours are from 2 to 10. We have an executive chef, gourmet food, but we also hold events. So if you want to have a conference or a wedding or a birthday party, we will definitely be able to host that event.
Premier One. So we make sure that all our members and everyone that watches Straight Black Sports every Tuesday, that we get out there to Premier One and make sure that we support. They're going to have a big thing going on July 17th.
Next Sunday.
The official retirement party of Michael Vick. So tell us, how did this come about?
Well, my operations manager, he brought it to our attention, East, and he said that, hey, you know, Mike, did you know Mike Vick was retiring? I didn't even know he was retiring. So a good friend of his happened to stop past the club, and he said, yeah, you know, he wants to have a party down here for his retirement, but he wants to golf that morning. And I thought it was a great opportunity to be able to say, hey, here's our grand opening, and you know, and also be able to have it like a charitable event, because what we want to do is raise money for a local high school. It's called Tyrus High School.
Okay.
And part of our commitment to this community when we went down there was to help this school with their athletic facility. We actually visited them. Brian Montgomery, he's also an NFL veteran. He actually coaches over at that school, and he walked us around the facilities. And we didn't. I mean, it was kind of discouraging, you know, to see some of the things that was going on just from, you know, being in high school. And we just felt like, you know, if we can do anything we can do in that community to help them out, it would be really good. So it was just an opportunity. Mike Vick's coming to town, you know, to get those the people, the politicians, the teachers, the principals involved over there. You know, maybe see if we can get Mike Vick at East Lake Golf Course community, play a game. You know, have the press come out, make it a big ordeal, because it's also celebrating a man's tremendous career here in the NFL.
Indeed.
So
Mike Vick, next week, July 17th, we're going to be at Premier One. I want you guys to come out and support. We'll be announcing this again on Tuesday as we do Straight Black Sports with all our people. Matter of fact, hold it up. There it is, Mike Vick. So we make sure we get a good shot of that. Premier One is the place we're going to be at. Make sure that you come out and join us. And you have a chef. So, hey, good food.
Yeah.
You cook as well out there? Do you do any of the
Not in the restaurant.
Not in the restaurant.
but this is my personal chef.
There you go. Okay.
Because she can cook.
Is he staying in shape, doing all the right things health-wise and that?
I'm gonna be honest with the restaurant and him. You know, me and him both being into the restaurant many hours of the day.
Yeah.
We kind of we're eating as we go.
Okay.
So.
And that happens being an entrepreneur, especially in the restaurant business, where hey, something looks good right there, I can grab it, and then I know the same. Understood.
Because we got crab cakes, we've got shrimp platters, we've got fried conch.
Oh, I'm there.
We're
I'm there next Sunday. I am there. Premier One. Let me turn the subject matter to something a little bit more seriously that's going on in our community. Obviously, this past week we saw live, almost in front of us, on social media, 2 African American males killed by the police. Okay, and from what we looked at, definitely wasn't warranted. It looked as just a plain murder. To be honest with you. Carmelo Anthony came out yesterday and he made a statement that athletes need to get more involved. Okay, they should stop with the endorsements. We need to put everything on hold. What do you guys think that African American athletes should be doing within the community and about these things that are going on? Why aren't they speaking out, or should they even be speaking out?
I think that as an African American male that's played a professional sport, as you know, that we got a certain level of teaching when it comes to dealing with authority and police that a lot of our young brothers and sisters don't get anymore, because it starts from your upbringing. And I think that as bad as that crime was against that man, you know, some things can be avoided, but it's building up in a community that, you know, we're sided against the police, you know, and sometimes as a mutual respect, you got to understand some of those guys, their job, even if they're racist, which we know a lot of them are racist, you know, but a lot of us are hostile. So it's got to be some type of teaching and learning there how to cohabitate with these people of the law, because just like every cop, they're not all bad. Just like every person, every black male, we're not all thugs.
Right.
You know what I mean? And until you learn that communication between the two, you learn our communication as a black male that may be misunderstood by your law enforcement, or we understand the law enforcer that we might misunderstand you. It's got to be an open dialogue. It has to be in the community. It starts with us helping people to understand. Now, you know, there's hate all over the world, you know, and I mean, what do you do to combat hate? You know, everybody, you know, the thing is, you know, you pray about it, but, you know, sometimes prayer is not always the answer. So we got to be active in the community and teaching people what the do's and don'ts, you know. And I'm not sitting here trying to justify anything that the officers did to that man, because it was totally wrong. Anytime you execute a man, it's wrong. You know what I mean? And those guys should be held accountable to, you know, the letter of the law. You know what I mean? Which is a lot of times we can get deeper and deeper into that, but it's not really our law. You know what I mean? So. And it's biased toward black males,
right?
You know, and it's almost like, you know, they treat us worse than animals, you know. So we just have to kind of hone in back in our community and get people to figure out how to not be in harm's way of that man that's racist or have hate in his heart, to try to not provoke his anger to murder you.
To murder you. I agree.
You know what I mean?
Agree
Because there is, I mean, it's just like if you have a concealed weapon, you know, and then you always talk about the gun laws that's going on. And the first thing they tell you is if you have a gun, the first offense is retreat.
Right.
So even in your conversation, it should be retreat because you're outnumbered. They got guns and they can do whatever they want to you.
Right.
So you have to think, you know, like, how do I get myself out of a situation before I get myself into the situation? And a lot of times people don't know that because they're just so ready to just like the cops are against us, and I get it, you know what I mean? Because it's really bad.
Yes.
So, but if you can't control your self emotion to say, you know what, this can turn ugly for me because you see what's going on in the media.
Right.
You know what I mean? Save your life to help another life.
Right.
You know what I mean? Rather than resist and die that day.
Exactly.
Because these people, they're out for you.
Yes.
You know what I mean? At the same time, you know, Major KD, he's over in DeKalb County, and he actually walked us around the precinct. And you know that crime that happened over, I can't remember where it was at, but the young man had a fake toy gun.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
And the cop shot him.
It was in
They
Cleveland.
walked straight up to him,
Cleveland.
They walked straight up to him, right? And they killed him. You know, and I was like, man, that's totally messed up. But I walked around with KD in the South DeKalb County, and you know, he was just showing me like their boardroom, how we go game plan. They game plan too to go to the streets.
Okay.
And he was showing me in there how it was a toy gun. It looked like a water gun. You know what I mean? And it had a 12 gauge shotgun inside of it. So I said that to say that some of the good cops, you know, are also subjected to retaliation from our community because sometimes they don't know what's going on either. Like a situation like that, how would you ever know that a 12 gauge would be in a white gun with pink and blue on it? You know what I mean? And they have the game plan for that. So as much as there's hate crimes in this world, you know, there's also people that are really doing crimes and just trying to, I guess I'm playing the field, you know what I mean, a little bit, but I kind of see somewhat inside of what they have to deal with too.
So you're looking at both, you're taking the objective where I can look at both sides of this equation,
right,
and see some good here, but there's some bad. You kind of be objectively with your thinking process or thought process.
Exactly right.
Which is a smart thing to do.
And I just want to weigh in on it. I mean, there's no doubt that these officers aren't putting their life on the line, and that it's not a hard job to do on a daily basis. But my thing is, when do you give humanity some respect? You know, Philando Castile, he actually complied. He told the officer, look, I have a weapon, a concealed weapon, which is what you're supposed to do.
Right.
Exactly right.
And his life still got taken away. So it becomes, you know, a little bit more than marching and, you know, retaliating. It becomes, when do we go to the legislators and talk to your local community leaders and talk to your politicians to come out with a law that's going to hold these officers accountable? That's where it starts, you know, because it's just not going to end. You're going to see this every day. A march isn't doing it. We've already done that, just like Carmelo said, you know. And in regards to what the athletes should be doing, talk to your politician. You know, don't just go on social media and talk a good talk. You know, it takes a little bit more action than that.
Wow.
You know.
I mean, I can't say it any better than that. We have a very strong couple here, very knowledgeable about what's going on in their community. We want to make sure that we support them next Sunday, July 17th, Michael Vick's official retirement party at Premier One. Make sure you come out. We'll be talking more about it on Tuesday. Leander, Jordan, I want to thank you for taking time. Naomi, thank you as well for sitting down and taking a few minutes of time with us on Straight Black Sports. We're definitely going to have you guys back on the show, okay?
All right, we definitely love to come back.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, brother.